months now, I've been obsessed over ITX PC builds. I've browsed different cases, researched GPU specs, and watched just about every PC build video that Optimum has made. After all of that, I came to two conclusions. One, I'll never be as cool as Optimum. And two, I have to build one of these ITX PCs. So I found the perfect excuse. I'm going to give the two PC setup a try. I know that two PC setups aren't super popular these days, but here's the thing. I have this really nice 4K 240Hz monitor, and I'd like to get the absolute most out of those specs, and having a dedicated gaming PC will be just the ticket. Also, I just need a somewhat decent excuse to build yet another PC, so here we are. And before we continue, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of you returning subscribers for helping me reach 1,000 subs. I'm now receiving my fair share of ad revenue, and that's all because you clicked that sub button. I cannot thank you enough for that, and if you enjoy the video today and you want to support my channel, the most free way to do that is just to click the subscribe button. Other ways you can support are to join the channel as a member for as little as $2.99 a month, or just use the links in my description below to purchase anything you decide you need after watching this video. Even if you don't do any of those things, know that I appreciate you being here, and I really hope you enjoy this video. If you're here because you're looking to build an ITX PC, or you're wondering if dual PC streaming is your thing, then you're in the right place. I'm starting this build off with the intention of building a stream PC, but I did have a thought while I was building it. How will this perform as a gaming PC? You might be surprised. Stick around towards the end to find out how this PC performs with modern games. If you're just here to build a gaming machine, you can just use the chapters below and find the game testing section. You can find the full list of specs and the details, and I'm gonna highlight a few of the different components I chose for this build in this video. To start with probably the most important part of any ITX build, let's talk about the case. After changing my mind about 100 times, I finally landed on the Thermaltake TR100. I have zero regrets on this case. It's big enough to house all kinds of GPUs and smaller than a handful of ITX cases. And this hydrasia blue color is stunning with the contrasting white on the inside. This case gave me a lot of options at the $140 price, and it fit well within my budget for this PC. The motherboard wasn't easy to pick out for this build, and if I'm being honest, my biggest reason is because, well, I'm aesthetically sensitive, and finding a white Mini ITX Mobo that isn't ridiculous amount of money was pretty much impossible. So I screamed into a pillow as I entered my payment information and placed my order on a Gigabyte B55OI AORUS Pro AX. Color aside, this thing is pretty great, and it checks all the boxes for me on having a good amount of USB inputs for all of my streaming gadgets. For the CPU, I didn't want to go overboard. I knew all of my encoding was going to be taken care of by my GPU, so I could cut some costs on the CPU. After some research, I ended up with the Ryzen 7 5700X for only $139. This CPU will get the job done just fine with 8 cores and 16 threads. If you're building a streaming PC, I would suggest a CPU similar to this one, as this is the sweet spot between power and price. Since I went with the AM4 socket CPU, I was gonna have to stick to DDR4 for memory. I went with the Kingston Fury Beast RGB Special Edition 16 GB with a memory speed of 3600 megahertz. This RAM has great reviews and will look great with my mostly white build. I'm using an external drive with this PC, so I didn't go overkill for the memory. On the inside, I have the crucial 1TB P3 Plus Gen 4 NVMe, and it gives me plenty of space to work with, and at only $60, it's an incredible value. This isn't the most premium NVMe, but it'll get the job done for this build. One thing I've noticed about building in an ITX case for the first time is that you have to really think about the order in which you're putting everything together. The space in this thing is so tight that you need a plan in order to make sure you have the best access and room to install each component. As an example, normally I'd go ahead and install the CPU cooler after getting the motherboard all set up and inside the PC. That would make putting in the GPU for this case much harder. So I had to change things up a little bit. So make sure you really think about the order in which you're going to install everything, and as a tip, maybe watch a few videos to see how other people did it, which is what you're doing now. Good job. ITX PC builds utilize a smaller power supply unit called SFX. Why they couldn't all just use the same letters and their sizing taxonomy, I don't know. I used the Lian Li SP750 in a previous build and already knew it was top tier choice for this PC as well. Not to mention the white power supply looks incredible with this case. Thermaltake makes it really easy to install this power supply by allowing you to pop out the housing. After attaching the PSU to the housing and plugging in your cables, you just put it back in the case. Pretty simple. As an extra bonus, there's a power supply cord extension. This makes it easy to plug your PC into the power and gives you access to the on-off switch without having to actually open the PC itself. Some truly big brain stuff here from Thermaltake. Here's the thing about GPUs for streaming PCs. You actually have a lot of options. You could go with something like a 1060 Ti and still get some great performance in your streams. After watching a video from EposVox on the new AMD 9000 series GPUs, I was absolutely sold on going Team Red for this build. The TLDR of his video describes how AMD has caught up to NVIDIA on encoding. They aren't better than NVIDIA's encoders, and NVIDIA still has a little bit of an edge over AMD, but the gap is somewhere below 10% now in encoder performance. For a streaming machine, this was a no-brainer. After weeks of checking the Micro Center Discord multiple times a day, I finally got my hands on this beautiful AMD Sapphire PURE RX 9070. This is at the top end of what you could use for a streaming GPU and has all the bells and whistles you need to maximize your streams on multiple platforms. And it fits like a glove in this case and was very easy to install. I went back and forth on cooling options, and after doing some research on thermals and seeing what other people did for their builds, I decided the safe bet was liquid cooling. Maybe a bit overkill, but guaranteed results. If you're looking to cut some costs, you could go with air cooling and be just fine here. For this build, I'm using the Corsair iCUE Link Titan 240 RX. It's a great cooler with tons of great reviews that will keep my CPU nice and cool while also helping maintain my thermals overall in the case. Another fun fact about this cooler is that you can buy different caps for the pump. I went with one that adds even more cooling with a little bitty fan and a bit more RGB. This fan can cool your entire motherboard and can reduce your CPU's thermals on an average of about 10 degrees. You just pop the cap off that came with the cooler and snap this one on. At this point, I had been cable managing as I go, which I highly recommend. It made my last pass at cable management even easier. The case provides you with a roll of Thermaltake Velcro tape. The tape looks great and is easy to use. It's perforated so you can choose how big of a strip you need and just tear it off. After tucking away some cables and using the tape to condense a few more, the build was done. Other than having to really squeeze some cable connections into the motherboard, this build was really easy. All that was left to do is the most anxiety-inducing part of any PC build, turning it on for the first time. Luckily for me, it didn't explode, and it posted perfectly, and I had it all up and running within a few minutes. My perfect post streak continues. Honestly, the hardest part of building a streaming PC isn't actually building the PC, it's hooking it all up. I'm gonna make a video on how I set up my streaming PC, and when it's finished, I'll be sure to link that video in the top right corner here. And if it's not there right now, know that I'm still working on it and I'm hoping to have it for you very soon. If you hit that subscribe button below, you'll know exactly when it's posted. I put my streaming PC through the ringer just to test out and see how powerful it is as a streaming machine, and I was shocked at the results. Here's everything I went live with. 2 streams and 1 screen recording using AV1, and Twitch utilizing the H.264 encoder. When I hit go live, I imagined a blurry video on each of my streams and my PC blowing up. None of that happened, and to my complete shock, every single stream looked crispy and clear. Honestly, the best stream quality I've ever had. The games looked high res with smooth frames, and if you want a stream PC that is going to give you incredible quality and a breadth of options for encoding at high settings, this or something close to this PC is it. Here I was thinking that I had made the nearly perfected stream PC. Then I decided, why not test some games on it? It can't be that good with this processor, right? I ran a quick test on Cyberpunk with high settings, a little bit of ray tracing, and 1440 resolution. I could not believe the numbers I was seeing, so I had to test it out on a few other games. I went with Cyberpunk, Monster Hunter Wilds, Splitgate 2, and Forza Horizons. Each game represented different kinds of tests. Cyberpunk and Horizon because, well, it's pretty much the standard for testing. Monster Hunter because it's extremely resource intensive, and Splitgate 2 because there's no frame gen and it has a lot of high-paced action. The results? This machine can game. At 1440 with most settings on high, I was seeing higher frame rates than I thought. Not to mention the fact that the GPU and CPU usage was high, while my temps remained very low. I figured temps would be the biggest issue here with a small form factor and only a handful of fans. Turns out, there's great airflow, and there's enough fans to keep this thing pretty cool. I never even intended to play any games on this PC, but if you're looking for a PC that can handle 2K gaming at high frame rates as an ITX machine, at around $1,000 for this build, it's a pretty great deal. I mean, sure, you could go buy an Xbox or a PlayStation and get 4K 120, but I guarantee it wouldn't look or feel nearly as good as this machine. For a couple of hundred more, this is an excellent PC with incredible performance at 2K resolution. If you want a machine that can handle 4K gaming at 200 plus frames, you could spend an absurd amount of money and build a PC similar to my main gaming rig. If you don't want to spend an absurd amount of money for a PC, this ITX build is a really great option. I loved building this little power machine of a PC. Every time I pick it up, I can't believe it's a PC that's capable of so much power in such a tiny box. A powerhouse streaming machine, an impressive 2K gaming PC, all in one. Honestly, I think this is the future of PCs. While I do love my giant fish tank gaming PC, I can't help but think how I would redo the entire PC build in a footprint that's 50 to 60% smaller without sacrificing performance. Will I do that? Probably. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. It really means the world to me, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. But until then, I hope you love others, and even more importantly, I hope you love yourself. See ya.